Ladies and gentlemen, you'll have noticed that in a very understated and very un-northwest way, the team of officials have snuck onto poolside without a great fanfare today. So I'd just like to introduce you to the lead officials for today's events. Our two referees for this morning's session are Elaine Armstrong from Stretford and Mark Davis from Sandbach. And our starter for this morning's session is Jeff Pratt of Knutsford. Yeah, definitely a round of applause for all our officials who do this on a voluntary basis and without whom these competitions could not take place. So thank you very much, and officials, enjoy your morning as much as the swimmers will. And as per the event schedule, our first event is event number 301. It's the men's 100 metres individual medley. There will be 4 heats in this event. You'll also be aware that for the majority of events this morning, there are finals as well. That's for all events 301 to 307. The exceptions being the women's 400 metres individual medley and the men's 1500 metres freestyle, which will all be heat declared winners. So officials and starters are all ready for a 9 o'clock start. It's over to you guys, officials. And so the morning's racing's off and running. In lane 3 we've got Daniel Beattie of Stockport Metro. In 4 it's George Young of Winsford, and in 5 is Max Ainsworth of Kendal. It's a fast and furious 4 lengths of each stroke. Interestingly, the top 6 times in this event in the last 12 months by Brits have all been swum in the ISL, led by Andreas Vassios at 51.87. But Thomas Payne, who's swimming here today, tops the Northwest times in the last 12 months at 57.45. Well, our swimmers, heat number 2. Swimmers underway cleanly. Up in lane 2 on the far side of the pool is Mark Thompson of Bolton Metro, James Escombe of Kendal in 3, Ellis Cleworth of Liverpool in 4, Frankie Docking-Smith, Stockport Metro in 5, Spencer Sheard of Dane Valley in 6, and Ronnie Whelan in 7 from Warrington. So 14-year-old Ronnie swimming up against some of the older swimmers here. And Ellis Cleworth taking it out strongly in lane 4. Frankie just turning first, but not a lot between those two at the front as they head down the final 25. Good swimming, boys. Heat number 3. Swimmers underway again. Finley Quayle of Copeland in 1, Toby Andrews of Trafford Metro in 2, Ben Middleton of Stockport in 3, and his teammate Harper Whitehead in 4, James Pennington of Altrincham in 5, Thomas Kidd of Winsford in 6, Ben Horton of Manchester in 7, and Ewan Allen of Chester in lane 8. Ellis Cleworth, the first one in the previous heat to go under a minute. Let's see if any of these boys can match him for that. Strong first 50 from James Pennington of Altrincham, but the breaststroke leg often sorts out the final placings, and there's a strong leg coming in lane 3 from Ben Middleton here. Well done, boys. 4th and final heat. Swimmers are underway in this final heat, and in lane 1 we've got Goituk Moller of Ulverston. In 2 we've got Lewis Turner of Winsford. In 3 we've got Adam Jones of Trafford Metro. Thomas Payne in 4 from City of Manchester, the fastest swimmer on paper in this event. Ashley Donaldson in 5 from Altrincham. Charlie Collins from Wigan in 6. Davey Unwin of Stockport in 7, and Ethan Allpress of Ulverston in 8. Ashley Donaldson a little bit hard into the wall there, but it's Tom Payne leading the way. Fantastic 25.95 for his first 50. A great demonstration of short course swimming there, and coming in nearly a second and 1.4 under his entered time there, Tom Payne in lane 4, so a great swim from him. We move on to event number 2. It's the women's open 200 metres breaststroke. There are 3 heats in this event. Heat number 1. And the swimmers are underway. In lanes 1 and 2 are a pair of Preston swimmers, Jenna Cross and Elizabeth Waring, followed by 3 and 4 a pair of Stockport swimmers, Beth Robinson and Olivia Heron. In 5 is Lucy Canavan of Manchester. In 6 is Madison Wren of Liverpool, Gabrielle McCulloch of Salford in 7, and Charlotte Lund of Stockport in lane 8. And in fact, in lane 3, Beth Robinson doesn't start. So over the last 12 months, the best time in this has been set by Molly Renshaw in the ISL, and there's a bit of a common theme on the last 12 months short course times for Britain. They've pretty much all been set in ISL meets. But in the Northwest leading time at the moment is Laura Kinley of the Isle of Man at 2:31.86. As the girls go into the final 100 of this, I have the finalists for the men's 100 metres individual medley. The 16 and unders age group, the finalists are Lewis Turner of Winsford, Charlie Collins of Wigan, James Escombe of Kendal, Ben Horton of Manchester, Dave Unwin of Stockport, Ronnie Wheel of Warrington, Thomas Cook of Winsford, and Goyag Moller of Ulverston. And the 2 reserves are Ethan Allpress and Mark Thompson. Ethan Allpress of Ulverston, Mark Thompson of Bolton Metro. Swimmers, you have any withdrawals have to be done in the next 15 minutes, please, and should be done online at the live.swimnorthwest.org website. And I'll give the finalists for the men's once this race is finished for the 17 and over age group. So Olivia's led this pretty much start to finish, coming in at 2:36.21. And we move on to heat number 2. So swimmers cleanly away there. In lane 1 we've got Grace Jackson of Salford, Chloe Ridge of Wigan in 2, Olivia Molden of Stockport in 3, Rachel Hornby of Wigan in 4, Lois Inch of Winsford in 5, Zara Dodd of Ramsbottom in 7, and in lane 8 Jessica Sutherland of Aquabears rounds off this heat. Finalists for the men's open 100 metres individual medley 17 and over age group are as follows: Adam Jones of Trafford Metro, Ashley Donaldson of Altrincham, Frankie Docking-Smith of Stockport Metro, Thomas Payne of Manchester, Ellis Cleworth of Liverpool, Harper Whitehead of Stockport, Ben Middleton of Stockport, and James Pennington of Altrincham. The reserve finalist for this is Spencer Sheard of Dane Valley. Again, swimmers, you have 15 minutes for any withdrawals, and those need to be done online, please. So at the halfway point, Rachel Hornby's established a really nice lead over the field here, probably 5-6 metres or so over the rest of the swimmers. And still getting strong underwater, strong distance underwater on her turns. In this short course format, that's more important than ever. There's a tighter race for second and third in this heat between Olivia Molden and Lois Inch. And up in lane 1, Grace Jackson of Salford looks to be having a good swim. So this is going to be Rachel Hornby's race against start to tape. Third and final heat. So we've got a full complement of swimmers in this final heat. Here we've got Amelie Elliott of Leyland Barracudas in lane 1, Elizabeth Briley of Blackpool in 2, Anna Healy of Wigan in 3, Denisa Elena Georgiou in, City of Manchester in 4, Colleen Devlin, I'm mixing my words here, in lane 5 of Stockport. Lane 6 is Alexa Atkinson of Workington, Alyssa Boslem of Salford in 7, and Ava Vincent of Warrington in 8. What a mouthful. Okay, the girls have finished there. That's the women's 200 breaststroke concluded. We move on to event 303. It's the men's 100 meters butterfly. There are 5 heats in this. Heat number 1. And the boys are away in the 100 metres butterflies. We've got S14 swimmers in all 3 lanes here. Liam Hardy of Oldham in lane 3, Ryan Potter of Blackpool in 4, and his teammate Owen Boys, also of Blackpool obviously, in lane 5. Just a disqualification to announce in event 302, the women's 200 metres breaststroke. Heat 3, lane 8 was disqualified. Fantastic swim by Ryan there. And we move on swiftly on to heat number 2. So here in heat number 2, we've got Elliot Mitchell of Oldham in 2, Dylan Fung of Stockport in 3, James Escombe again in Kendall in 4, Oliver Parry of Oldham in 5, Adam Jones of Ulverston in 6, and Giorgio Oxby of Stockport in lane 7. Giorgio's also an S14 swimmer, so he'll be swimming in a category alongside the 3 guys who went in the previous heat, so bear that in mind for his time as you watch this race unfold, as the guys are just over halfway now. And with the majority of the field turning in under 30 seconds, is looking set for a fast time. All done. Heat number 3. Away cleanly again, and in lane, we've got a full complement of swimmers in this one. So in lane 1 is Ben Horton of City of Manchester, James Hanford of Leyland Barracudas in 2, Shaquille Giordani in lane 3 is City of Manchester, and his teammate Ruben Robotham Keating in 4, Jake Reynolds of Blackburn in 5, Evangelos Girianos of Stockport in 6, Charlie Collins of Wigan in 7, and Tom Arkwright of Leyland in lane 8. Some great swimming from the boys there, with 4 of them coming in under a minute. And we move on to heat number 4. So while the swimmers are flying through, literally, this race, the finalists for the women's 200 metres breaststroke are as follows. In the 16 and under age group, the finalists are Grace Jackson of the City of Salford, Emily Elliott of Leyland, Madison Wren of Liverpool, Alexa Atkinson of Workington, Lois Inch of Winsford, Zara Dodd of Ramsbottom, Anna Healy of Wigan, and Gabrielle McCulloch of Salford. And the 2 reserves are Chloe Ridge of Wigan and Elizabeth Waring of Preston. Again, I remind you that withdrawals, you have 15 minutes for any withdrawals, and those should be done online at the live.swimnorthwest.org website. So we've got 5 swimmers under the minute there, and a fantastic 57.1 from Nathan Young in lane 5. We move on to the 5th and final heat. And the finalists for the women's 200 metres breaststroke, the 17 and over age group, are Colleen Devlin of Stockport, her teammate Olivia Molden of Stockport, Olivia Heron of Stockport, Denisa Elena Gogu of Manchester, Rachel Hornby of Wigan, Lucy Canavan of Manchester, and Elizabeth Briley of Blackpool. Again, you have 15 minutes for any withdrawals, and they should be done online. Thank you. So, and a fantastic start from Tom Payne. You watch Tom's underwater work. This is what really sets him apart in his short course meets. And a great time from Tom there, bettering his entered time. And that's the conclusion of the boys 100 metres butterfly. We move now on to event 304. It's the women's 100 metres freestyle, and there are 5 heats in this event. Heat number 1. So the swimmers are underway in this first heat, and we've got a number of swimmers with disabilities across different categories in this. So the actual times will not be as relevant as their points that they accumulate for their time. In lane 2 we've got Samantha Lewis of Satellite, Fallon Cooney of Manchester in 3. Lane 4 is Jamie Lee Tyson of Ulverston, Georgia Sheffield of Salford in 5, and Rachel Partington of Alsager in 6. So Samantha in lane 2 here and Rachel in lane 6, who are swimming fairly neck and neck, are swimming in the same categories. And so their kind of head-to-head will be quite an interesting one to watch as that evolves. Coaches and team managers, could we have a representative from Stockport to the timing suite, please, as soon as possible? A representative from the coaching or management team of Stockport to the timing suite, please. And we move on to heat number 2. And the girls are underway in this heat of the 100 freestyle. In 1 is Lucy Parsons of City of Liverpool, Lucy Dixon of Salford in 2, Poppy Maskell of Alsager in 3, Mia Mason of Manchester in 5, Cara Tohill of Salford in 6, Isabel Liptrot of Wigan in 7, and Darcy Murphy of Northwich in lane 8. Poppy in lane 3 there is an S14 category swimmer. She'll be comparing her time against Georgia Sheffield from the previous heat, who was swimming in lane 5 in the previous heat. But competing, the girls are all pretty much in a line here. It's a pretty tight finish across the pool. Well done, swimmers. We move on to heat number 3. While the swimmers are clearing the pool here, the finalists for the men's 100 metres butterfly in the 16 and under age group are Xiaoming Guo of Manchester, Davey Unwin of Stockport, Rhys Grady of Stockport, Reuben Robotham Keating of Manchester, Joseph Stout of Salford, Luke Critchlow of Stockport, Lewis Cottam of Stockport and Charlie Collins of Wigan. And the two reserves are Ben Horton of Manchester and Tom Arkwright of Leyland. Again, swimmers, you have 15 minutes to withdraw. And the finalists in the 17 and over age group for the men's 100 metres butterfly, Jolan Bennett of Stockport, Ashley Donaldson of Altrincham, Nathan Young of Wirral Metro, Tom Payne of Manchester, Shaquille Giordani of Manchester, Ellis Cleworth of Liverpool, Jake Reynolds of Blackburn and James Hanford of Leyland. The two reserves are Ethan Wright of Winsford and Evangelos Gennarios of Stockport. Again, you have 15 minutes to withdraw and these should be done online. Thank you. So the first two breaking the 1 minute barrier there, and we move on to heat number 4. So we've got 4 swimmers in this heat who are entered at under a minute. Also a quick note to swimmers and any family members that might be listening to this, if I'm not pronouncing your name, please do come and find me and tell me how to pronounce it properly. I'm doing my best, but I want to get that right. It's your name, it's very personal to you, so if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, please do come and find me up in the balcony. The 5th and final heat. So the girls are cleanly away here in the final heat of the 100 metres freestyle. Jess Calderbank there in lane 4 is actually the fastest in the Northwest over the last 12 months for the short course freestyle at 58.21. The fastest Brit in 2021 over short course, again in the ISL, was Isabella Hindley at 52.58. I suspect that Jess will probably swim a fairly quick time here and then up that again in the final as she's leading at the halfway stage, turning in 27.7. A strong swim also coming up in lane 1 from Lydia Swindle of Wigan. But it's going to be Jess quite comfortably by a body length. And 57.3 being a very good time to post for a heat swim. That concludes the women's 100 metres freestyle. We move on swiftly to event 305. It's the men's open 50 metres breaststroke. And there are 5 heats. Heat number 1. So obviously this is the race we all love here in the UK. The fastest in the last 12 months, it would not surprise you, being Adam Peaty in last year's ISL at 25.41, an amazing time. And in 2021, the fastest by a Brit is actually at 27.74. And the fastest time in the Northwest over the last 12 months is Nathan Holmes, who swims in the later heat here at 29.99. Ethan Oldpress of Ulverston leading that one home. And we move on to heat number 2. While the boys are swimming this, I've got the finalists for the women's 100 metres freestyle, the 16 and under age group. Mia Mason of City of Manchester, Amelia Mardell of Ulverston, Eleanor Kay of Bolton, Emma Flannery of Salford, Mia Burslam of Liverpool, Lydia Swindle of Wigan, Caris Roberts of Winsford, and Katie Rawnsley of Liverpool. The 2 reserves are Lucy Dixon of Salford and Madison Wren, also of Liverpool. A really tight finish from the boys there, and just a reminder to the girls, in that final you have 15 minutes to withdraw, and withdrawals should be done online if you wish to do so. We move on to heat number 3. And so the finalists for the women's 100 metres freestyle 17 and over age group are Maisie Hosking of Manchester, Rebecca Armour of Copeland, Abby Winstanley of Manchester, Jessica Calderbank of Manchester, Amy West of Stockport, Lauren Bradley Holt of Salford, Martha Hurst of Stockport, and Ciara Prentice of the Isle of Man. The two reserves are Martha Smith of Clitheroe and Olivia Heron of Stockport. And again, you have 15 minutes for any withdrawals. And we have our first swimmer there under 30 seconds, Toby Ranson from City of Manchester. And we'll move on to heat number 4. Nathan Holmes and Daniel Kinsella head-to-head going into the final 5 and away and clear of the rest of the field. The 5th and final heat. So after watching this breaststroke, you can all go home tonight and watch the Strictly Come Dancing breaststroke of Adam Peaty. Great swimming, gents. That concludes the 50 metres breaststroke for men. We move on to event 306, which is the women's open 50 metres butterfly, of which there are 6 heats. Heat number 1. So Jess Calderbank, who we saw swim the 100 freestyle earlier, also has the fastest time for the last 12 months in the 50 fly in the Northwest here at 27:05. But I suspect we'll see some times unfolding at or near that later on in this event. And we nearly had our first sub-30 in the first heat there. Great swim from Lily Smith. And we move on to heat number 2. It's a really strong swim up in lane 1 here. And it's actually Elisa Barzaghi down here in lane 7 that takes that. Disqualification in that heat in lane 8. And so the finalists for the men's 50 breaststroke are as follows. For the 16 and under age group, the finalists are Alex Shearer of Preston, Ewan Weaver of Aquabears, Hayden Burns of Stockport, Reuben Robotham Keating of Manchester, James Escombe of Kendal, Matt Charlesworth of Blackpool, Tom O'Donnell from Southport and Oliver Parry of Oldham. The two reserves are Ben Davidson of Trafford Metro and Ben Townsend of Alsager. Again, swimmers, you have 15 minutes from now to withdraw if you require doing so. The finalist for the 17 and over 50 breaststroke for men is Luke Adams of Salford, Jake Reynolds of Blackburn, Dan Kinsella of Manchester, Rodri Williams of Liverpool, Toby Ransom of Manchester, Nathan Holmes of Preston, Ben Middleton of Stockport and Fraser Cook of Southport. The two reserves are Will Murray of Winsford and Alex Turnbull of the Isle of Man. Good swimming, girls. We move on to heat number 5. We're seeing some really strong swims from the top lanes in this women's butterfly, and it looks that way again with lanes 2, 3 and 4 leading the way. And now we move on to the 6th and final heat. disqualification in that event. It's in lane 5. Lane 5 disqualified. We move on. That concludes the women's 50 metres butterfly. We move on to event 307. It's the men's 200 metres backstroke, of which there are 4 heats. While the officials get the starting wedges in place, we'll take a little pause and then we'll move on. So as you can see, there's just the 2 swimmers in this heat, Long Hae Chong of Stockport and Cameron Warren of Blackburn, both entered on exactly the same time. So it'd be really interesting to see how this particular race unfolds. They've both got an entered time of 2:20.14. The fastest in Britain over this event over the last 12 months was Luke Greenbank. I'm sure you saw him competing at the Olympics. His short course time comes from the ISL last year at 1:48.65. But the fastest in the Northwest in the last 12 months is Toby Hill from the City of Manchester at 2:04.74. Toby's swimming this event today, and I'm sure we'll be looking for a time somewhere in that sort of region. As the boys enter towards the halfway stage in this heat, I'm going to read out the finalists for the women's 50 metres butterfly. So in the 16 and under age group, the finalists are as follows: Amy Compton-Hesford of Wigan, Mia Burslem of Liverpool, Lucy Turner of Burnley, Olivia Lloyd-Jones of Satellite, Tilly Copeland of Manchester, Poppy Maskell of Alsager, Hannah Morris of Leyland, Lily Smith of Ulverston, and the 2 reserves are Beth Robinson of Stockport and Sophie George of Winsford. The finalists for the 17 and over age group are Martha Smith of Clitheroe, Millie Goodman-Stroh of Wirral, Rebecca Amore of Copeland, Jessica Coldbank of City of Manchester, Amy West of Stockport, Ella Williams of Preston, Abby Winstanley of Manchester and Olivia Heron of Stockport. And the 2 reserves are Lucy Canavan of Manchester and Maisie Hosking, also of Manchester. Again, swimmers, you have 15 minutes from now to withdraw. Please do so online if you require it. So despite having similar entered times here, this race is going very much the way of Long Hae Chong, and dipping under his entered time then. Heat number 2. So in this second heat, we've got a range of 16, 17 and 18-year-olds. We've got Joel Morley of Southport up in lane 2, Vadim Bosch of Liverpool in 3, Rhys Grady of Stockport in 4, Spencer Sheard of Dane Valley in 5, James Hanford of Leyland Barracudas in 6, and Ben Overland of Stretford in lane 7. We've got a range of entered times from 2:08 to 2:17 here. And Vadim's gone out particularly fast in sub 30 for his first 50 there. And Vadim's on an entered time of 2:13, so he's gone out in the right sort of pace to beat his entered time. And established about a body length's lead now going into the halfway turn. So with 50 to go, Vadim looks fairly comfortable out in front, but the battle for second place in this heat between lanes 2, 4 and 5, so that's Joel Morley, Rhys Grady and Spencer Sheard, looking quite strong. Remember, Vadim was entered on the 2:13.14 here, so he's going to be comfortably inside that time. Good swim, boys. We move on to heat number 3. So with the absence of a lane 4 here, the field's split top and bottom of the pool. At the top we've got Mark Thompson of Bolton in 1, Ethan Allpress of Ulverston in 2, and Shaquille Jordani of Manchester in 3. And then the bottom half of the pool we've got Gabriel Taylor Rimmer of Bolton in 5, Ewan Blackwell of Carnforth in 6, Finn Smith of Southport in 7, and Francis Dyson of Oldham in 8. And it's lanes 3 and 6 turning fairly much together there. In fact, we've got 3 swimmers turning in under 30 seconds. About on the same sort of pace there for the first 50 that Vadim was in the last heat. And Shaquille over in 1:01 is about the same sort of time as the previous heat was turning at the halfway stage. And Shaquille touching first there, looking quite comfortable. And a time of 2:05.73. We'll move on to heat number 4. We have a full house for this heat, the final heat in the men's 200 metres backstroke. Up in lane 1 is Finley Pope of Stockport. He's just 14, so the youngest swimmer in this heat. Then George Scurry of Stockport in 2, Joshua Howard Hughes in 3, Thomas Poulton of City of Manchester in 4, Toby Hill of City of Manchester in 5, Charlie Collins of Wigan in 6, Kyle McKenna from Leyland Barracudas in 7, and Jacob Atkinson of Stockport Metro in lane 8. Toby Hill leading this out. Very good pace. Toby, remember, is the fastest swimmer in this event in the Northwest for the last 12 months with a time of 2:04.74. He's going to be needing to turn probably under a minute here to be getting close to that. And at 57.31, that gives him a good chance of doing so. Also round under a minute is his teammate from the City of Manchester, Thomas Poulton. So remember, Toby's fastest time for the last 12 months in the North, fastest time in the Northwest is 2:04.74. Looks like he's going to quite possibly beat that in this heat swim. And comfortably under it at 2:01.83. Great swim. That concludes the men's 200 metres backstroke. We move on to event 308, the women's open 400 metres individual medley, of which there are 3 heats. Heat number 1. The girls are underway. In lane 2 we've got Sophie Park of Oldham Aquatics, Martha Miller from Preston in 3, Lydia Keeley of Stockport in 4, Eleanor Marr of Winsford in 5, Bethany Shum of Bolton in 6, and Madeline Pratt of Knutsford in 7. The 400 individual medley on short course in particular, very much a test of the swimmers' all-round skills and abilities across all the strokes. And the race will really only unfold fully probably when we get to the breaststroke leg. As with most of the British best times for the last 12 months, the leading time in Britain for the last 12 months was Katie Shanahan in the ISL at 4 minutes 31.8. But Olivia Clare, who's swimming today for the City of Manchester, holds the fastest time in the Northwest for the last 12 months. So we'll see what she can do this week. So as the girls enter the backstroke leg, I've got the finalists for the men's 200 metres backstroke. In the 16 and under age group for the men's 200 back, finalists are as follows: George Scurry from Stockport, Ethan Allpress of Ulverston, Finn Smith of Southport, Vadim Bosch of Liverpool, Rhys Grady of Stockport, Charlie Collins of Wigan, Finley Pope of Stockport, Ben Overland of Stretford. And the 2 reserves are Mark Thompson of Bolton and Long Hei Chong of Stockport. Swimmers, you have 15 minutes. If you want to or need to withdraw, please do so online. So Bethany Shum from Bolton leading this as they head towards the end of the backstroke leg, so the halfway point in the race, and opened up a decent lead over Eleanor Marr of Winsford. But as I said, things can change quite rapidly on the breaststroke leg in a 400 metres individual medley. The finalists in the 17 and over age group for the men's 200 metres backstroke. So this is the 17 and overs. Finalists for the men's 200 backstroke are as follows: Spencer Sheard of Dane Valley, Joel Morley of Southport, Thomas Poulton of Manchester, Toby Hill of Manchester, Shaquille Jordani of Manchester, Gabriel Taylor-Rimmer of Bolton, Ewan Blackwell of Carnforth, and Josh Howard Hughes of Holton. The two reserves are James Hanford of Leyland Barracudas and Francis Dyson of Oldham Aquatics. So as I mentioned, things can change quite rapidly on the breaststroke leg, and Bethany Shum down here in 6 having a great breaststroke leg, and Eleanor Marr, so they're now kind of head to head, where there was a bit of a bigger gap at the halfway turn. And up in 2, Sophie Parks having a strong breaststroke leg, and hunting down Lydia Keeley in lane 4. But the leading 2 are just coming to the turn for the end of the breaststroke leg into 4 lengths now of front crawl. So Eleanor's leading the race into the final 50. Her enter time's 5:24. I think she might be just outside this when she touches. But finishing very strongly, a big, strong leg beat kick going into the final 5. Ah, under her time. Fantastic swim. Now we move on to heat number 2. Great start there in lane 6 from Eleanor Kay. And the full lineup for this heat is Eve Horton of Wigan in 1, Martha Ricketts of Satellite in 2, Mia Smith of Stockport in 3, Evie Cutter of Wigan in 4 with her teammate Chloe Ridge next to her in 5, Eleanor Kay there with the great start from Bolton in 6, Katie Lee from Salford in 7, and Millie Duncan of Stockport in 8. Katie's So we've got a couple of younger swimmers here. We've got Katie from Salford, who's a 13-year-old, and Evie Cutter of Wigan, who's 12. The fastest enter time on paper comes from lane 4, Evie Cutter at 5:17. But up in lane 1, it's E. Horton from Wigan Best, who's having a great fly leg. And as we saw from the last heat, things can change through the breaststroke leg. But it is lane 1, Eve Horton, who turns at 109. And down here in lane 7, Katie Lee, with Salford turning in second. And Katie Lee appears to have made the transition from fly to back, the better of the two, and is starting to build a little bit of a lead down here in 7. Also in lane 2, Martha Ricketts is having a good backstroke leg, and she's moved herself up into second place as they swim the final 25 of the backstroke leg. And then with these three just slightly ahead, the rest of the field is all pretty much in a line. So we'll see how this unfolds through the breaststroke leg. As in lane 7, Katie Lee turns first still. We can already see some movement in the field here. In lane 3, Mia Smith's having a good first 25 on the breaststroke leg. And lane 2, Martha Ricketts is pulling back a little bit on Katie Lee down here in 7 on her breaststroke. Chloe Ridge in 5 also having a strong breaststroke leg and bringing herself back into contention a bit. But it is Katie Lee who's holding her lead about a body length or so. So Katie's actually entered on 5:21 here, turning in 3:56. I think she's going to be comfortably inside that 5:21 entered time. Martha Ricketts in 2, and Evie Cutter from Wigan in... Is it Evie Cutter? No, it's in lane 5 is Chloe Ridge. They're coming second and third. But it's a bit of an outside lanes focus on this one. And Katie Lee just stretching away really as she goes into the final, heads towards her final turn. So with 5:21 to beat, she's I think going to be fairly comfortably inside that. As in by about 15 seconds. Yep. And a big improvement on her enter time from Martha Ricketts in lane 2 as well. So a great swim from Katie there, and we move on to heat number 3. Third and final heat of this event. In lane 1 we've got Ella Bloxage of the City of Salford, and then if you shout for Olivia you're doing pretty well, because we've got Olivia Sheehan of Wigan in 2, Olivia Molden of Stockport in 3, and Olivia Kerr of Manchester in 4. Rachel Hornby of Wigan in 5, Sophie Trail of Stockport in 6, Millie Goldman-Stroh of Wirral in 7, and Amy Kenworthy of Winsford in lane 8. So Olivia Clare that is, here in lane 4, is the fastest entered time on paper and also the fastest in the Northwest over the last 12 months. But being given very much a run for her money in the first opening stages of this 400 metres individual medley. Again, outside lanes looking strong, with Olivia Sheehan of Wigan Best having a great first 75 on her fly. And she leads, in fact I think she'll probably lead going into the backstroke turn, but Olivia Clare just starting to ease through a little bit as well. So those two, along with Rachel Hornby of Wigan, all turning pretty much together, about 0.2 of a second separating those three. So Olivia Clare in 4, Rachel Hornby in 5, up in 2 Olivia Sheehan, and now coming back into it also Olivia Molden, making it a bit of a 4-horse race as we head towards the halfway point. I suggest you just shout for Olivia, and you're doing pretty well on this one. Olivia Clare, Olivia Sheehan, 1, 2, and then Rachel Hornby in 3rd. So we've seen in both the previous heats that the breaststroke leg changes the placings quite a bit over the 4 lengths, and see some movement here from Olivia Molden in lane 3. Moving through, and also lane 5 here now, Rachel Hornby having a really strong breaststroke leg and giving Olivia Clare a real battle. They've got 50 to go in this breaststroke leg. A strong turn by Rachel there, really maximising her underwater. So Rachel Hornby and Olivia Clare stretching away from the rest of the field on this breaststroke leg. And it is Rachel turning first. About a second up on Olivia there. 4 lengths of freestyle to determine the champion, really. There's a strong battle going on in lanes 1 and 2 between Ella Bloxage and Olivia Sheehan. Probably for 4th place now, but a real good battle in the 2 lanes next to each other. As strong as the battle here for 1st place in lanes 4 and 5, they're head to head going into the last 50. So Olivia Clare, Rachel Hornby, nothing, 0.2 of a second to split them into the last turn. And see who's got the most left. They've both gone to their legs. And I think Olivia Clare is just looking the stronger over the final 25. Fantastic race, a fantastic swim by both those swimmers. Well-deserved applause. Well done, girls. We move on to the final heat of this morning's session before we head into the finals, or the final heats of this morning's session, which is the event 309, the men's 1500 metres freestyle. Settle in. We've got 3 heats here. Heat number 1. So 60, yes, 60 lengths of the pool. Try not to get too dizzy, lads. We've got 3 in this first heat here. Noah Harrison of Stockport in lane 3. George Dainty, I hope I've got that right, George in lane 4 from Warrington, and William Lyne of Winsford in lane 5. So the boys have gone out at a good pace there, 105 for their first 100. And they're entered on times ranging from 18:30 to 18:45. So they're fairly closely matched on paper. 2 of the guys, George and William, only separated by a second on paper. But it is George who's taking it out of the early stages of this event. So 300 metres in, George stretching a fairly healthy lead here. Probably got 8 or 9 metres on Noah. About a 5-second lead there. For the 5th of the race gone. The fastest time in the Northwest over the last 12 months belongs to Lewis Turner of Winsford, who's swimming here later on in the final heat. He's got a time of 16:48. And in fact, the fastest time by a Brit this year in the last 12 months. Has been recently swum about a month or so ago by Loughborough University's Daniel Whiffen in Budapest, who swam 14:48. So the only Brit in the last 12 months to go sub 15 minutes in a short course, 1500 metres, which is a fantastic effort. Anything under 15 minutes, it takes some doing. As a reminder that after this 1500 freestyle, we'll be moving on to the finals, and we'll have the men's 100 metre 100 individual medley first up, then the women's 200 breaststroke, the men's 100 fly, the women's 50 fly, the men's 50 breaststroke, the women's 100 freestyle, and finishing this morning's session with the finals of the men's 200 backstroke. So mentally tough for these three guys. So they've split up along the pool now, racing themselves in the clock really. Will's probably got Noah just about in his sights, but I think the distance between them probably means that they can't really see each other. And George here down in lane 4 has established best part of our 15-metre lead now over Noah. You'll see him as he turns there. And so George is coming to the halfway point. So he's going to hit halfway at under 9 minutes. 8:51 there for the first 750. Remember his entered time is 18:30. So if he can maintain this sort of momentum, this sort of pace, he's going to be somewhere around that sort of mark. It feels a little bit like George has put a bit of extra pace into this middle section of the race, and has strengthened his lead. Over the space of about 150 metres, he's probably added another 3 or 4 seconds to his lead there, so definitely picked up the pace a little bit in the middle portion. So George is coming up to the 1,000-metre mark here, 2/3 of the way through the race. And just 500 metres to go. Mentally now I'm thinking that George is probably getting Will in his sights a little bit and starting to use him just to pull back ever so slightly over the back end of the race. But the gap from Noah to Will doesn't seem to be changing a huge amount. George has now got the advantage of having Will in his sights to bring him back, haul him back a little bit, and judge his pace on that, use it as a bit of a mental boost towards the back end of the race. And George is going to have 300 to go at this turn. Remember, George's halfway split was under 9 minutes, just under 9 minutes, and he's got an entered time here of 18:30, so he's looking strong for coming in well under that and potentially even challenging that 18-minute mark. So 200 to go for George, looking really strong still, and has now got Noah in his sights. He's definitely used his distance and the fact that he's catching these other two swimmers to drag him forward in the last part of the race. And Noah turns with 200 to go. You may have noticed George giving a little head-up look occasionally as he heads to that far left-hand lane where the officials have got the counting boards, open water swim style. And this is him turning into his last 100. There at 16:31, so he's actually going to smash his entered time of 18:30, and we will be well in under 18 minutes. A good workout for the official on the end of the lane 4 there, as he heads George into his last 50. Fantastic swim there by George. Yeah, a round of applause definitely worthy of. So Noah's holding his second place into his final 50, and Will's coming through for his final 50 as well. Let's give them some encouragement as they head into the last part of their race. Noah's entered on 18:45, so he's going to be rounding under that time as well. Well done, guys. Fantastic swimming. We move on to heat number 2. And away they go. So we have in this heat, in lane 1, Ross Hanley of Winsford. Lane 2, Finley Pope of Stockport Metro. Björk Moller of Ulverston in 3. Adam Wright of Winsford in 4. Samuel Grimes of Wigan in 5. Matt Warburton of Warrington in 6, and his teammate Joseph Ashley in lane 7. In fact, having struggled over Björk's name, he's not actually swimming in lane 3, so it is Sam Grimes here in lane 5 that's taking it out nice and strongly. He's established a decent lead and has taken Matt Warburton from Warrington with him, but very, very early stages. So turning in a minute for the first 100. So Sam Grimes here is entered on a time of 17:29. Actually, more or less the same time as Adam Wright in lane 4 next to him, but at the moment it's Sam and Matt Warburton who are continuing to lead the field as they head to the 200 metre mark. At 300, Sam still continuing to look fairly strong and comfortable, as you'd expect at this early stage of the race. Not sure whether they can see each other across the pool, but lane 2, Finley Pope, and lane 7, Joseph Ashley, are swimming fairly closely on the same sort of time, and actually in terms of the way they're breathing, that length they were looking across at each other. So the guys are now all over a third of the way through the race. Sam Ryan's continuing to churn out some strong 100-metre splits. And lapping one or two swimmers in the heat as well. And Matt Warburton doing his best to hang on to him. Had a strong period from about 450 through 400 through to 500, that sort of period. But Sam seems to be just pulling away again a little bit now. Sam's got almost 25 metres on everybody else in the field here, so it's a fantastic swim in lane 5 there. As he's at 700 metres, so on his next turn after this one, down at the right hand end, that'll be him halfway through the race. Turning at 750, turning the 750 mark halfway through the race in 8:06.36. Entered on 17:29.8 is Sam. So at that sort of pace, again, he's looking good for beating that time, possibly even coming in under 17 minutes. In second place, Matt Warburton is also still looking really strong. He's entered at 17:42, and I think he's going to be, if he holds his current pace, he'll be comfortably under that as well. In lanes 2 and 4, Finley Pope and Adam Wright within this are actually having a really good battle, with less than half a second splitting them now that we're well into the second half of the race. But Sam Grimes, in terms of the race, has definitely got this sewn up. He's lapped all but one of the swimmers now. It'll be a case of how fast he can go and what sort of time he can post to challenge the guys in the next heat. Five of the guys in the next heat are entered at under 17 minutes, and I think that Sam's looking strong to go under 17 himself for the first time short course. So as Sam comes round this time, he's got 400 to swim. So we could be looking at, quite possibly looking at something around 1640s, 1645 maybe from Sam here, which would be a great sort of 45 seconds improvement on his entered time if he got to that. He's got the last of the swimmers for him to lap in his sights, as he can see now Matt Warburton just ahead of him. 300 to go there for Sam. In the battle for third place in this particular heat, Finley Pope seems to be just establishing a little bit of a lead in the final stages of this event. He's gone from them being split by less than half a second to having maybe 3 or 4 meters lead now over Adam Wright. So, Sam Grimes, 200 to go. Just pulls in Matt Warburton on that turn. In fact, although we've got the 3 swimmers swimming alongside each other here in 5, 6 and 7, Sam is a lap ahead of Sam Grimes in 5 is a lap ahead of Matt Warburton in 6, who in turn is a lap ahead of Joe Ashley in 7. And now the 2 Warrington boys swimming together. So, Sam Grimes, 100 to go, 4 lengths. Turning there in 15:13, so we're probably looking at about 16, we're certainly looking at a sub 16:30 here, for a guy that's entered on a 17:30, so an amazing swim by him. There's the bell for Sam. Matt Warburton's into his last 100. This is going to be a real benchmark for the next set of swimmers to aim for, as Sam comes in there at 16:17. 16:17, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic swim by Sam Grimes. Matt Warburton is still holding his place in second down in lane 6 here. He's into his last 50. Matt was entered on a 17:42 He's going to be probably 35, 40 seconds quicker than that as well. And Matt comes in under the 17-minute barrier as well. So two guys taking big chunks out of their entered times and both coming in at under 17 minutes, which is fantastic swimming. Finley Pope's strong second half to the race sees him take third place in that heat. Well done, gents. We move on to heat 3, the third and final heat of this 1500 freestyle. Okay, away the boys go. So in lane 1 we've got Alexander Volkovoy of the City of Salford, Tom McCabe of Stockport in 2, Ethan Wright of Winsford in 3, Max Adams of Salford in 4, Lewis Turner of Winsford in 5, Patrick Braddock of Oldham in 6, George Young of Winsford in 7 and Ryan Coulthard of Manchester in lane 8. The fastest of these on paper is lane 4, as always, is Max Adams at 16:05. We saw a 16:17 in the last heat, so the pressure's on all of these guys to try and push towards that, better that fantastic swim by Sam Grimes. They're going to be needing to swim at about 1:05 100-metre splits. Now Pat Braddock down here in lane 6 has really taken it out quite strongly and aggressively at 57.6. Max tends to swim a stronger back end of the race, so I don't expect to see him going out particularly hard or fast. But also up in lane 1, Alexander Volkovoy is looking quite strong in these very early stages. So while this race is going on, I've got a lost property announcement. Actually, I've been handed a pair of goggles in an arena case, goggle case. So I'm sat at the foot of the steps on the balcony. If anybody wants to come and claim their goggles, please come and see me. So Pat's holding his strong form, turning the 200-metre mark in just on 2 minutes. And the two Salford boys separated by a few lanes, but still swimming strong in second and third. And it's these three swimmers already establishing a bit of a lead really over the rest of the field. So as they swim left to right here on this leg, Max and Pat are breathing to the side that they can see each other. Max has pulled a little bit back in this portion of the race. He's also bringing his teammate Alexander Volkovoy up there in lane 1 with him a bit. So it's still those three away and clear, and they've probably got 15 metres or more on the rest of the field. Then in lanes 2, 3 and 5, we've got Ethan Wright, Tom McCabe, Ethan Wright and Lewis Turner, all swimming pretty much in a line. Uh, 4:11 for the 400 metre turn, and Max just takes the lead for the first time now. So just a reminder, if anybody has lost a pair of goggles, please do come and find me and identify your goggles, and I'll let you have them back. So a third of the way through the race, and the first three swimmers are probably currently on target for around the same sort of time, probably just slightly faster than Sam Grimes that they're going out at. But just goes to show that how strong a swim that was from Sam, that it's only really these first three in this heat that are matching his time at this stage of the race. Just over a second, still only separating these three swimmers at the head of the race. And Alex Volkovoy looking really smooth and strong up in lane 1. His speed through the water is probably as quick as either of the other two boys. And it's actually him that's taking the slight lead at this stage. There's still less than a second between them. Alex has the advantage of being up there in lane 1 and being able to look across the whole of the rest of the field, so he can see in one breath where all the other guys are. He'll know what his teammate Max Adams can do, I'm sure. I'm sure they churn out the lengths together in training. And Alexander's having a really strong middle portion of the race here. It looks like Alex has realised he's got the energy over the other two at this stage, and is pressing home his advantage a bit. Pat Braddock's trying to go with him, and 2 lanes up from Pat in the middle there in the yellow cap of Salford City, also in the yellow cap of the City of Salford, Max Adams, trying to keep on their heels as well. But the race is starting to just stretch out a little bit as the guys are into the final half of the race. So Alexander Volkovoy there in lane 1 was entered on a 17.14. This rate, this speed, we're going to be looking at low 16, so he's going to be looking to knock a minute or so off his entered time in a similar way that Sam Grimes did in the previous heat. And those two are battling out for the junior prize. Sam's 15 and Alex's 16s. So Max Adams is 17 and Pat Braddock 17. So those guys are battling it out for the senior prize. At this stage, it's Pat Braddock in second place in this heat, but leading that particular battle in the 17 and overs. Alexander's coming down now for his turn to 2/3 of the race gone. So at the moment, Alexander's probably looking at about a 16:10, something like that. That sort of pace. Pat Braddock's certainly not letting him have it all his own way and is maintaining that gap at just over a body length, probably 5 meters now almost. So those two have definitely pulled away from Max there in third. Really strong into that turn from Pat Braddock. All a metre or so back just on the turn there, I think. So Alex coming around here with 300 to go. He's going to turn it around 13 minutes, just a smidge under 12:56 there. So he's still on target to beat Sam's time of 16:17 from the previous heat. Probably at the moment looking at about a 16:12 maybe. Pat Brannett working really hard down here in 6 to try and keep with Alexander. It's getting to that sort of stage with swimmers all over the place, not necessarily on the same laps, but in 2 and 3, in 5th and 6th, there's a real battle going on between Tom McCabe and Ethan Wright, with nothing separating them, but Alexander's coming through to lap those guys again. So, last 200 metres for Alex here. And Pat, they're both on their last 200. Alex has probably just extended that lead a little now to maybe more like 6 or 7 metres. Really strong leg kick from him still. Right, with a 100 coming up to go for Alex, he needs to be turning here in about 15.8 or something to be, which is, there we go, inside 15.6, so he's looking strong still for the fastest time. And Pat Braddock down here, still holding on to 2nd place, turning into the last portion at 15.11. Last 100 metres for those guys. And Max Adams holding on to his 3rd place. They're actually being hunted down a little bit outside him by Lewis Turner of Winsford. And they've got 100 to swim. So remember, the time that Alex is looking to beat here is 16.17. I think he's going to be nicely inside that. I'll say nicely. (16.09), fantastic swim. Now will Pat come in under 16.17? He does. So now the battle is in 3rd place in this heat between Max Adams and Lewis Turner. And Lewis is coming through really strongly in the last 200 metres of this race, but I think Max may just have enough there. Lewis is probably running out of pool a bit here. Great race from those boys. And then the battle between Tom and Ethan, lanes 2 and 3. Ethan just takes that one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the heat swims and of the first part of the morning session. We move now on to the finals of this morning's events, starting... Sorry, my apologies. My apologies. Yeah, we move on to the finals of this morning's events. Event 311, which is the men's 16 and under 100 metres individual medley. In lane 1, Gurtog Muller of Ulverston. In lane 2, Thomas Cood of Winsford. Winsford in the house. In lane 3, James Escombe of Kendal. Lane 4, Benjamin Horton of City of Manchester. Lane 5, Davy Unwin of Stockport. Lane 6, Ronnie Wheel of Warrington. Lane 7, Lewis Turner of Winsford. And in lane 8, Mark Tomsett of Bolton Metro. Lewis has just had a good warm-up. Straight out the 1500 into the 100 IM. Everybody please cheer for Lewis. Officials, over to you. So, great start from Ben Horton of Manchester there. And some lovely underwater work on his backstroke as well. And it's Ben that's probably got a metre lead heading into this part, but it's pretty much evens across the board. Lanes 4 and 5 turn together into the breaststroke leg. Watch out for things to change a little bit here. Well done, boys, great swimming. Lewis, you can go and have a rest. Event 312 is the men's 17 and over 100 metres individual medley final. In lane 1, Adam Jones of Trafford. In lane 2, Ashley Donaldson of Altrincham. Lane 3 is Frankie Docking-Smith of Stockport. Lane 4 is Thomas Payne of City of Manchester. Lane 5, Ellis Cleworth of Liverpool. Lane 6, Harper Whitehead of Stockport. In lane 7, his teammate Ben Middleton of Stockport. And in lane 8 is James Pennington of Altrincham. So Tom Payne in lane 4 here is the clear favourite, I would say, and just watch his underwater work through the 4 lengths of this race. So a great start from him. He's already got a bit of a lead, 11.67 for 25 metres butterfly. A great backstroke turn just coming up on the 15. And almost a body length clear of the rest. Flip turn. And a great breaststroke turn into pull out there as well. Across the rest of the field it's pretty even, but Tom Payne's definitely going away with this one. More strong underwater work, even on the last length. Up he comes. Masterclass in 100 metre short course individual medley swimming there. We move on to event number 313. It's the women's 16 and under, 200 metres breaststroke. In lane 1, Gabrielle McCulloch of Salford. In lane 2, Emily Elliott of Leyland. In lane 3, Madison Wren of the City of Liverpool. In lane 4, Alexa Atkinson of Workington. Lane 5, Lois Inch of Winsford. Lane 6, Zara Dodd of Ramsbottom. Lane 7, Grace Jackson of Salford. And lane 8, Chloe Ridge from Wigan. So Alexa and Lois, the two quickest into this final, both dipping under the 2:41 barrier. Alexa at 2:40.11 and Lois at 2:40.89 in those centre lanes there. But looking strong early on in lane 3 is Madison Wren. And it is Madison who turns first of the first 50. As always in these short course races, the turn is vital, and they're having a big strong pull out in their underwater phase on the breaststroke makes a big difference for these swimmers. And Madison looking probably the strongest of the leading swimmers on her turns. In lane 5, Lois Inch is perhaps the faster through the water. So we'll see how this plays out as they reach the halfway point. 3 of them under 118 there. First 3 split by less than 0.2 of a second. Madison's turn again, keeping her in it there. Down in lanes 6 and 7, Zara Dodd and Grace Jackson are having a good second half of the race, pulling themselves back into contention. Lois and Alexa in the 2 golden lanes, as expected, 1 and 2, but not having it all their own way. See the stroke rate picking up from the swimmers there. 2 very different styles in the lanes 4 and 5, but both equally effective. Down to the touch. And both going under 2:40 as well. Fantastic swim, fantastic race, girls. So event 314 is the 17 and overs women's 200 metres breaststroke. In lane 1, Colleen Devlin of Stockport Metro. She's the first of a trio of Stockport swimmers there. In lane 2, Olivia Molden of Stockport. In lane 3, Olivia Heron of Stockport. In lane 4, Denisa Elena Gogu of City of Manchester. In 5, Rachel Hornby of Wigan. In lane 7, Lucy Canavan of Manchester. And in lane 7, Elizabeth Briley of Blackpool. And away they go. Denisa Elena Gogo in lane 4 there, the fastest qualifier on paper for this final. She's also the oldest at 23. She's swimming there against a bunch of 17-year-olds, so she'll be wanting to prove that the youngsters haven't got anything on her experience and her racecraft. She's gone out really strong, and she's probably just about in the lead, but up in lane 3, Olivia Heron also showing strong on the first 50. A good third turn from Olivia Heron there, is keeping her in it, but it's still Denisa Elena by a body length or so into the halfway turn. Rachel Hornby coming back slightly, and she's still turning in third, but definitely narrowed the gap. And also down in 6, Lucy Canavan showing strong back end of the race. So the girls come to turn for the final 50. Rachel has now moved herself up the standings a little bit, I think. Denisa Elena Gogu still with a second or so lead from the other two as they hit the final turn. Really strong turns from lanes 3 and 5. I mean, it's a lot tighter than maybe it could be going into the final 10 metres or so. And Denisa Elena Gogu takes it. Next event, the 16 and under men's 100-metre butterfly final. In lane 1, Charlie Collins of Wigan Best. In lane 2, Lewis Cottam of Stockport Metro. In lane 3, Luke Critchlow, Stockport Metro. In lane 4, Ruben Robotham Keating of City of Manchester. In lane 5, Joseph Stout, City of Salford. In lane 6, Davy Unwin, Stockport Metro. In lane 7, Xiaoming Gao of City of Manchester. In lane 8, Ben Horton, City of Manchester. Ruben Robotham Keating looking really strong here, and he's going to take this quite comfortably with a real fine demonstration of butterfly swimming in short course. 55 seconds is a great swim. We move on to the 17 and overs, men's 100 metres butterfly final. In 1, we've got James Hanford of Leyland Barracudas. In 2, Ashley Donaldson of Altrincham. In 3, Nathan Young of Wirral Metro. Tom Payne's back in 4 for the City of Manchester. Shaquille Jordani of City of Manchester in 5. In 6, Ellis Cleworth, City of Liverpool. And in lane 7, Jake Reynolds of Blackburn. My apologies. Also in lane 8 is Ethan Wright of Winsford. Winsford will let you know. Ethan's not on my sheet, so apologies, Ethan. Over to you, starter. So Shaquille going out really hard there, and he's turning at the 50 at 25.78. But Tom Payne using his underwater skills again to great effect, and he's looking to boss this second half. So tight turn, strong underwater, and in the space of a blink of an eye, he's moved from second place to a body length clear with some fantastic skills there. And we move on. Event 317, the women's 16 and unders 50 metres butterfly final. In lane 1, Amy Crompton-Hesford of Wigan Best. In 2, Mia Burslam of City of Liverpool. In 3, Lucy Turner, Burnley Bobcats. In 4, Olivia Lloyd-Jones of Satellite. In 5, Tilly Copeland, City of Manchester. In 6, Poppy Maskill of Alsager. In 7, Hannah Morris, Leyland Barracudas. And completing the lineup in lane 8, Lily Smith of Ulverston. So fast and furious. At the halfway turn is Tilly Copeland, City of Manchester, and Olivia Lloyd-Jones, the Satellite 1 and 2. And it looks like Olivia that's come back the stronger of the two. And she does indeed take it at 28.74. Event 318, it's the 17 and overs, 50 metres butterfly for women. In lane 1, Martha Smith of Clitheroe. In 2 is Millie Gidman-Stroh of Wirral Metro. In 3, Rebecca Amore, Copeland. Jessica Calderbank of the City of Manchester goes in lane 4. In 5, Amy West of Stockport Metro. In 6, Ella Williams of Preston. In 7, it's Abby Winstanley, City of Manchester. And rounding off the heat of the final is Olivia Heron, Stockport. So watch for Jess Calderbank in the lane 4, who's comfortably the fastest qualifier. Fantastic arm speed on her stroke there and strong underwater. She's got herself a body length clear. The race is for the second place, and across the pool it is pretty tight for that second place. Could be any one of about 3 or 4 swimmers on the touch. We move on to event 319. It's the men's 16 under 50 metre breaststroke final. In lane 1, Alexander Shearer, Preston. In lane 2, Ewan Weaver of Aqua Bears. In lane 3, Hayden Burns of Stockport Metro. Back for more, it's Ruben Robotham Keating in lane 4 from City of Manchester. Lane 5, James Escombe of Kendal. Lane 6, Matthew Charlesworth of Blackpool. Lane 7, Thomas O'Donnell of Southport. And completing the lineup, lane 8, Oliver Parry of Oldham Athletics. Fantastic start from Ruben again there. He's the fastest qualifier for this in that middle lane. Already got half a body length clear. Across the rest of the field, lane 1's having a really strong swim. Alex Shearer from Preston. And if he holds that form, he might nick second place. It's across the board on the touch. Hayden Burns. Fantastic swim from Ruben, under 30 seconds again. So winners of those first few events and the heat declared winner events from earlier, medals are available to be collected from the table down the end of the pool. And we move on now to Event 320, 320, that's the 17 and overs, men's 50-metre breaststroke final. In lane 1, Luke Adams, City of Salford. Lane 2, Jake Reynolds, Blackburn. Lane 3, Daniel Kinsella, City of Manchester. Lane 4, Rodri Williams, City of Liverpool. Lane 5, Toby Ransom, City of Manchester. Lane 6, Nathan Holmes, Preston. Lane 7, Ben Middleton, Stockport Metro. And in lane 8, from Southport, Fraser Cook. Fantastic swim from Rodri Williams there, going under the 29 seconds. And we've got 3 other swimmers there under 30, so great swimming by the top 4 guys there. Event number 321 is the women's 16 and under 100-metre freestyle. In lane 1, Mia Mason, City of Manchester. Lane 2, Amelia Mardell of Ulverston. 3 is Eleanor Kay of Bolton Metro. City of Salford's Emma Flannery in 4. In 5 is Mia Burslam of City of Liverpool. Lydia Swindle of Wigan Best in 6. In 7, Caris Roberts of Winsford. And in 8, Kate Rawnsley, City of Liverpool. So we've got 6 of these girls under a minute in their qualifying time. It is City of Salford's Emma Flannery that's leading them out of the halfway stage. But those 7 swimmers pretty much line abreast. A great turn down in 7 by Caris Roberts of Winsford. It's actually her that turned first just about, and she holds that into the final turn, so lane 7's the one to watch, with the middle lanes coming back strong. So Emma Flannery, Mia Burleson both coming back strong. I think it might be lane 5 who's going to take it. Mia Burleson.
Event 322, it's the 17 and over women's 100 metres freestyle final. In 1, Maisie Hosking of City of Manchester. Lane 2, Rebecca Amor of Copeland. In 3, Abby Winstanley of City of Manchester. In 4, Jess Calderbank, City of Manchester. In 5, Amy West, Stockport Metro. In 6, Lauren Bradley Holt, City of Salford. Another Stockport swimmer, Martha Hurst, is in lane 7. And lane 8, Kira Prentice from the Isle of Man. So in lane 4, Jessica Calderbank is fresh out of winning the 50 fly final, seeing if she can do the double this morning. And at the very first turn, she's already taken the lead out in 39.29. Fairly even across the pool, and good swims coming from lane 2. Rebecca Amor from Copeland. And then Amy West in 5 next to Jessica Calderbank, also keeping hot on her tail. There's only 0.06 between them. And here's those middle lanes still that are showing the best. See whether Jess has still got enough in the tank after one final to hold on or not. I think she's going to be pipped in this one. Amy West, great swim. And the two of them under 58 seconds as well. We have a slight pause to catch our breath while the officials put the start wedges in for the backstroke events. During that time, I will just remind any swimmers I've still got a set of goggles in a goggles case as lost property up here, so if anybody has lost them, please do come and find me before the end of this session, otherwise I will then hand them into the timing suite later on. We move on to the last of our morning's finals, or the last two of event 323, which is the under 16s, the 16 and unders 200 metres backstroke. In lane 1, George Scurry of Stockport. In lane 2, Ethan Allpress of Ulverston. In lane 3, Flynn Smith of Southport. In lane 4, Vadim Bosch of City of Liverpool. In 5, Rhys Grady of Stockport Metro. In 6, Charlie Collins, Wigan Best. In 7, Finley Pope, Stockport Metro. And completing the lineup in lane 8, Benjamin Overland of Stretford. From the heat swim, we've got a fairly clear leader on this, which is Vadim in lane 4. Swam about 2 seconds quicker than Reese in the heat, but as we all know, finals are a different matter. Early on, those two are already showing a fairly clean pair of heels to the rest of the field, and they go over together at the 50-metre mark. So we've got you see a slight difference in techniques and styles here, with Reese having probably the faster stroke arm turnover. Vadim's is a longer, smoother, if you like, stroke. But the contrasting styles are seeing them turn spot on next to each other at each turn so far. Coming through to the 150. We should expect a slight increase in tempo, stroke turnover, as they build through this final 50. And you can see that already from lane 3, actually. Flynn Smith from Southport, who's trying to break into this top 2. He's really upped his tempo in the last 50. A strong turn from Reese has established the lead for him, and he's increasing the tempo definitely there. And coming through strong also is lane 3, but I think it's going to be Reese, Vadim, Flynn in that order. Final race of our morning session is the final of the 17 years and over 200 metres backstroke for men. In 1, Spencer Sheard of Dane Valley. In 2, Joel Morley of Southport. In 3, Thomas Poulton, City of Manchester. Also from the City of Manchester in 4, Toby Hill. Completing the City of Manchester trio in 5, Shaquille Giordani. In 6, Gabriel Taylor Rimmer from Bolton Metro. In 7, Ewan Blackwell of Carnforth. And in lane 8, Joshua Howard Hughes of Holton. So Toby Hill was the fastest of the qualifiers here. He was also the fastest Northwest swimmer in the last 12 months coming into this meet. Coming in, he'd swum 2:04. He's qualified for the final at 2:01. Let's see if he can bring that down again to maybe under a 2-minute swim, which for 200 backstroke would be a fantastic, fantastic swim. And it is Toby who leads that into the first 50 turn. He's gone out relatively strongly at 27.88. Joel Morley, Thomas Poulton and Shaquille Jordani either side of him battling it out, but it is Toby already with about a body length lead coming into the halfway turn. Around a 59.2. I suspect that's not going to be a sub 2-minute swim. Nonetheless, showing a clean pair of heels to the rest of the race. His body length turn into the final, into this 125 turn. The battle for second and third is the really intriguing one, as Tom Poulton and Shaquille Jordani are turning neck and neck at every turn. But the three Manchester guys are really having this race all their own way. In fact, Tom Poulton and Shaquille are both coming back strongly on Toby here, but I think he's got enough to hold on to the end. 2:03.60. And Tom just edges the Manchester battle there for second. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our morning's events. Swimmers, don't forget to collect your medals from the medal table to the far end of the pool. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here, your appreciation for our officials on pool deck this morning for a great morning's work. And I'll just remind you that warm-up this afternoon starts with the boys' warm-up at 1:10. So that's in an hour and 5 minutes. Boys warm-up 1:10. Girls then at 1:30 with a session start at 2 o'clock. Fantastic swimming for the morning, swimmers. Enjoy your lunch break. See you back for some great swimming this afternoon.